Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, before we begin, we like to give all praise, all glory, all honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great mercy. As always, we say Shalom unto the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
Selakia. Alright, so we wanted to go into this word of the day here. January 3rd, 2026, word of the day. It says Senescence. So, Senescence.
You could get
Senescence.
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 It says what it means. Senescence is a formal and technical word that refers to the state of being old or the process of becoming old. The example we use here, our grandparents, now in their senescence, are enjoying spending more time with family and going on new adventures together. It says, from the Did You Know, it says, senescence can be traced back to Latin senex, meaning old. Can you guess which other English words come from senex? Senile might correctly come to mind, as well as senior. But another one might surprise you, Senate. This word for a legislative assembly dates back to ancient Rome, where the Senatus was originally a council of elders composed of the heads of patrician families. It says there's also the much rarer senectude, right, which, like senescence, refers to the state of being old, specifically to the final stage of the normal lifespan. Can you get any etymology? It says senescence, noun, condition of growing old, process of decaying by time. And they go into the adjective. It says growing old, aging, from the 1650s, from Latin senectem, present participle of senescere, to grow old, from senex, old, right? Blount's Glossographia 1656 also has a verb senes, to wax old, to grow old in age, to begin to decay or wear away, right? So you wanted to look at that word from the perspective of the elect, right? And the bodies the elect will have in the kingdom, right? Because I could remember a time, I know if you remember a time we was talking with our older brother in the camp, and he would have been complaining about his body. Right?
Yep.
You remember that experience?
Yep.
Right? He would have been complaining about his body. Right? He would have been, hastening for that new body to come, because he know the wear and tear growing old within the flesh, and he doesn't like it. He even would have told us that there's no honor in becoming old in this kingdom anymore. And back in the day, the scripture would have make mention of is it the reverence the hoary head? I'll get that scripture quickly. Leviticus 19:32, it said, thou shalt rise up before the hoary head, and honor the face of the older man, and fear thy power. I am the Lord Yahweh Shai. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. So that if it's a righteous old man, there's a crown of glory unto you, and you're supposed to rise up. That's
So like the best part of the damn precepts, huh?
Leviticus 19:32 and Proverbs 16:31. Right? Because when you go into that term, respect the elders, that's really biblical principles. Right? They to honor the old man and the old woman, that's really biblical principles. But we live in a time where not only are they not honored, it's not an honorable thing to be in their position. Right? Because we see some of them, they're reaching that stage with the senile, right? I see that word there, the senile, the brains or the quick wits so the ones had when they was younger, it no longer present with them. Right? Some of them this year when I talk to them, the speech patterns, them don't understand what you saying. And them just just talk to you and ramble on, and whole set of nonsense if I be real. Right? But it no longer is an honorable thing to reach that age, and no longer is you are no longer honored when you reach that age, right? So now we wanted to look at it from the perspective of the fact that the elect will never suffer that again. Although we may be year 10,000 into the kingdom, we're going to be, as the older brother, if you remember the conversation, he said, as we get older in the kingdom, the stronger we're going to get. Right? The Lord going to reverse it and say that, and it's only pursues unto the nation of Israel, of course. But as soon as we get older, we're getting stronger. And as compared to here, you're stronger from when you get older as a baby. And you would say from your 20s, your 30s, your 40s to the latest, but after your 40s, your life does begin to deteriorate, right, as you get older in this kingdom. But go ahead.
Yeah, what precept here?
Mm-hmm.
The second verse 5, because that make mention of being old is no longer viewed as an honorable thing in this society, right? But all of that is through the curses, because what? Through the word senescence, Salakia, through the word senescence, we get to understand it speaks about the effects of being old, right? The effects of being old through process of time in the earth, being under the curses. It's not like what it used to be. You know, like when you read the scriptures that speak about how Moses died and his eyes were not dim.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen out there anymore. You don't die old and strong and in your strength anymore. Why? Because that the curses of the Lord. There's 2 Corinthians 5, and I'll read from verses. Let me see here. I'll read from verses 46. And he said unto me.
Yeah, go ahead. That's right.
And he said unto me,
transition.
ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou eat not together, but one after another? Right. If thou bringest forth children, why dost thou eat not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then he said unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. So we understand through this breakdown is that if you could think of the people at the earth as babies, the womb or the earth itself is like the mother of those babies. And the breaking down here that through process of time, it's a acts which we could get into. In fact, yeah, we could get into as well. But what just so far we could gather here is what the earth is likened unto a womb, a woman, and the people in the earth are likened unto children, right? So verses 49. Verses 50. And I asked and said, seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. And he answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. So they the parable breakdown right now, right? Say unto her, wherefore art unto they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? So why it is the children you're making now is not like the children you make in the youth, in the strength of the youth. So in the before times, and she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in a time of age when the womb faileth are otherwise. So what these few scriptures, precepts we would have read, would have broken down what? Why is it? And it's apparent in the people that say it as well, Ian.
Before, can I read before you break down?
Oh, you read the whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
34.
54, I mean.
54, so like,
Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you, and so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old have passed over the strength of youth.
yes, so now you can look at that time beautifully. I know where you're heading, right? You could see it. Your father would have tell you, your older brother would have tell you, and not only they would have tell you, they see it. Right? Them was, of stronger stature than us in their youth. Right? And that not just us, right? Not like it's normally in the continuous cycle with it all set up. That is a consistent pattern you see, right? Even when we was going to school, not just the you wouldn't even had to jump a big generation, It's just those that was a year above us.
Yep.
And then all
way
year,
stronger than we.
yeah, and then all year, and then the years that came after us, you could see it. Right? So that is how the Lord set it up. Right? The scripture talk about so like, let me get that evils.
Week at 3 age?
Week at 3, yeah.
Like second
It
was
was
14, 17.
Yeah. See for me. Right. Second as 14 and verse 17. It says, "For look how much a world shall be weak at your age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." Right? So as the world becomes weak at your age, the ones that the inhabitants dwelling in the earth become weak at your age, right? So you process that time, right? This generation weaker than generation that sorry, yeah. This generation weaker than generation that came before it, but much more evil is taking place in we generation. Right? You see the ones who after we them weaker than we, but them doing far more evil things than us. Right? So seeing like a constant thing we would see. Right? It's not like it's a anomaly. We notice it. We fathers would even tell us it to the point of annoyance. And if you ever get annoyed, right, not just we father, I'm just speaking about we father, but the old heads, as they would say, the unks, right, them would continually tell us when I was young, probably the exaggeration. Some of them may have actually done it, but then you should do a whole convoluted story on how they used to get to school. What they used to do before they had to go to school, and we never go through that, nor will we have to, nor can we. Right? So the Lord designed it in a way which generations are coming afterwards, just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Right? But there is a way to fix it. Right? There's going to be a fix to the point where, as we open up the video, we say what? That in the kingdom, the older you get, the stronger you're going to get. And that pertains to the Israelites. Go ahead.
And to start that,
And you could say by extension the nations start agreeing and they're gonna be stronger than they are now.
by far.
Yeah, them let me say a heathen will live to 300 in the kingdom. Him at 300 is far better than him at the age of 40 or 50 in this kingdom. Because
or even in the youth 20 and these things. Like,
yeah,
the
because
strongest a man could be in his lifetime in this dispensation of time.
we never
is
match our strength.
nothing.
Yeah, never match our strength in the kingdom. Right? Because I also think about it. Why would the Lord allow people to live so old and not be able to do? Because think about it. If you was pursuing to this lifespan, from the age of 50, 60, especially in this dispensation, in regeneration, a man lives to the age of 50 or 60 now, he's very weak, he's very feeble, probably can't even walk, stand upright. The Lord gonna take you from the age of 60 to the entire age of 300 not being able to walk properly. That doesn't make any sense. Go ahead. The Lord about to reverse it, basically. And for the heathen, but for Israel, but by extension, the heathen to a degree. Of course, they're not going to get stronger as they get older like we. Right, but they ain't going to be in such a feeble stage.
The stage and I would say the effects of senescence.
Yeah, not gonna
take longer. To
yeah,
take
it's
effect
beautiful.
on them.
Yeah, on everyone, on every single one. Right, and we will never experience it.
Yeah, because we understand death is a curse, right? If we could get an immediately appoint his death unto him.
The second is just 3. 3 or 5, you just said. Let me see.
O thou Adam, what hast thou done? Leave out the second is just 6, right? But you don't understand when did this start? Because it had to have a man who's going to stop it, right? Because we know the key is that a man is going to come here and reverse the curse.
Mm. 3 and 7.
3 and verses 7. The second is just 3 and from verses 7. If you could read it for me.
Second is just 3 and 7. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him.
Curse, waiters, supernatural hindrances, things that you cannot get away from, that beyond your reasoning, power, or understanding to stop. So what? Immediately thou appointest death unto him, and that is the curse. If you transgress your power, it is Romans 6:23. The wages of sin is death, but it's not just death. It's the way you're gonna die as well. It's like
I said that ye are gods, and all of you shall
die like men. What? It's a living a dead life. It is he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain where? In the congregation of the dead. Yeah, I remember when Big Brother Collab would have asked that question. Is a dead state strong? No, it's not. And you're heading into a dead state. No matter what you do, from the time you're born, you could just imagine yourself walking from now to a finish line. Some men race longer, some men race shorter. But what? Everybody gonna end the race, and where's the end of the race? Your grave. You're going to hell. Everybody going to hell. If you understand that breakdown.
Everybody going to hell and everything. That could be a video.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, that could be a video. Everyone goes to hell and heaven. Once you have the understanding of what hell and heaven is, push you into the scripture. Not Christian. I won't say Christian mythology. Christians adopt the mythology. Right? The fashion, the judgment of the afterlife, or the judgment the Lord places upon the dead soul, the dead spirit. Well, not dead spirit, but the dead person, right? The fashion it according to Greek mythology. This ideology of I think it's Dante's Inferno, right? Or it's also not just an ideology. The base it off of was also a scare tactic to keep people paying tithes, keep people coming back to the church, because they would be so afraid of going to hell. They would say, nah, I have to commit more worship to prevent myself from ending up there. That's why you can see it. I know there's no knowledge being pushed in the Christian church. There's no devout men within the Christian church. There's nothing that screams a man of the Lord, or female, or woman of the Lord, or people of the Lord, or congregation of the Lord out of the Christian church, because they don't care about serving the Lord. They reach a point where they only care about surviving or getting out of hell.
And what?
Which you can say it are 2 stages of hell and heaven. AKA you're living it on the earth. And then you're gonna experience it in your death.
And what? How can you're living it on the earth? What? Because not only are you gonna die, but the final stages before you die, if you notice how old people die in these days, if you live long enough to call yourself old, if you live long enough to see old people die, they do not die in a strong state.
Yeah, they go through hell before they die. And then they go to hell when they die.
And what? That is what the brother Koala explained to me every time he speaks about Adam. Adam didn't just wake up one day and just die on the spot. Like how a man go, how a man today you could get shoot or starve or some kind of heights like that. No, he withered away, and that is the state the people of the earth find themselves in today. 2 Corinthians 3. If you could continue, read back from verse 7.
And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, And immediately thou appointest death in him and his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number.
So everybody under this curse. Go ahead.
And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments.
There's a way that seemeth right unto them, man, but the end thereof is what? Death. Go ahead.
And again, in the process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyedest them. And it came to pass in every of them that is death, and it came to pass in every of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these.
So was the flood to these, as death was to Adam. What? Death was certain. From the time you left the way of understanding,
Death was certain.
Death was certain. I believe if you go at 2 Ezra 6, it speaks about, oh, thou had done, what hast thou done?
For thou art not fallen alone. I think not the end of the chapter.
I believe it's 6. Is it 6? Let's see here. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? Oh, yeah, look at it. Look at it.
7 and 48.
I'll read from 46.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There, 2 Ezra 7, reading from verses 46. And I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else, when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness? And it's a heavy thing to consider yourself getting old in this life, especially when you see now men dying old and weak. That is something you'll fear and dread all the days of your life, especially in your youth. In fact, I would even say that is something you're supposed to fear and dread, and it's something that the youth do even think about these days. It's like, I never get old, I young forever. Wait, that song Forever Young? In the mind of living that, because what, they could fucking drink all their life, party all their life, fuck all their life, and do every evil abomination under the sun. Not saying drinking evil, but just saying the hedonistic lifestyle. They live that to the fullest, and what? When they're gonna die, then it's gonna hit them in the ass.
Because scripture talk about seek now the creator in the days of thy youth. Right? Scripture talk about you know make mention of it the lifestyle living. Why? Because they say the evil shall not overtake us nor prevent us.
But what the evil coming in your old age, and it's gonna meet every man.
Because the Lord can leave you here continuously doing evil, and that could be a punishment to live your old age as a man fucking crippled, deformed, right? You serve no purpose, you serve not to your power. Right?
No purpose to yourself and no to your power.
And then they could see that if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon would have ponder upon all these things.
Vanity of vanity. What profit is it for a man to live his whole life and get everything he ever gonna get? And riches, fame, everything a man could ever want under the sun, and he just gonna die at the end.
And not just that, sometimes and leave his riches off to somebody else who didn't work as hard as he. You're not gonna suffer that in the kingdom.
That the overarching theme there in Ecclesiastes, vanity and vanity of vanities, was the ultimate vanity, death.
And then which is ultimately how he end Ecclesiastes.
This is the conclusion of the matter. Fear power and keep his commandments, so this is the whole duty of man.
And then the precept after that is what it say, for the Lord shall bring
if I'll get faith.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. It's better to do righteousness, because then we have a deeper understanding of it, which is what? Reincarnation. You're gonna suffer in your next lifetime for the life you live now.
I have likened my judgment unto our right.
Because it says that here. It says For what profit, 2 Ezra 7 and 47, for what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment?
Well,
Or
because
again,
you know you're coming back here to what Yahushua said. Even though Yahushua, what was said, you shall appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach
Exactly.
to receive the things done in his body. Where is
so
that
you had two
receiving?
you had two judgment to get death, and then to come back here for
And
the
live for the shit they do.
so that is why Solomon would have said this here.
Yeah, they first fought. Solomon Ecclesiastes 12 and 14 Salakia. For power shall bring every work into judgment.
Remember, we could do a video on that, analyzing the word judgment, because judgment doesn't just mean working judgment, and a judgment is just a sentence passed against a work that was committed. So you're doing righteousness, you're going to receive a righteous judgment. Or let me say like this, a favorable judgment. You're doing wickedness, you're going to receive what? An unfavorable judgment. Judgment doesn't just mean, to bring death and destruction upon anyone. Solomon confirmed it here, right?
With every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Right, so a book's going to be judged whether it is good or evil, so it's better to do what is righteous, because he even said that. He said, as much as the light excelleth darkness, wisdom excelleth folly. Right.
2 Ezra 7 and verses
40.
no, 46 and done yet. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam. Say, yeah, or else when it was given him, to have restrained him from sinning, and that is it right there, because we know sin bring the curse, the sting of death. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? Yes, verse 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone. What? They follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. But we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, and the immortal time is promised that we're going to get into, whereas we have done the works that bring death. So what? Now we under the curse. But pursuant to the book of Revelation chapter 22 and verse 3, and there shall be no more curse, but the throne of power and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
Right, so Lord will this video was edifying. The part 1 to it. Right, you want to make it too long. Part 1 to it, right, we in a state in which being old or getting old within this kingdom, right, not only is it, not a favorable thing, not reckoned upon, not honored, but it is a punishment, as you can clearly see here. One of the ways the Lord could use to bring judgment, an evil judgment upon the head.
Because what, as it says, there shall be no more curse. But what was said in the book of Deuteronomy 28, these curses shall pursue thee and overtake thee, where it is overcome you. You're not gonna be able to beat this curse. But thanks be to the Lord that giveth us Mashiach, for through him shall be victory over death come. So what, this was part 1 of the 2-part video dealing with the word of the day for January 3rd, 2025, Senescence.
Lord will this video was edifying, and that you all were edified, including like say Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Yachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great men soon. As always, we say Shalom unto the leader.
Shalom to thee.